Hey guys, this is Stephanie and I am Stacks on Stacks on Stacks. Today I am doing a tag for you. I am doing the definitely, absolutely, positively end of year book tag. This is by Happy Elephant Books, and I'm really glad he made this tag because I was kind of looking for an end of year tag, and the one I found was an Ariel Bissett one from a few years ago, which was a good tag, but it was meant to be done like in like November, like, oh, the end of the year is coming, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, actually, end of the year has come and gone. I wanted to do like an end of the year tag. So when he put this on his channel, I was super stoked because it is an actual end of the year tag. So I was like, hot dog, let's do this. So I took a picture of the questions so I can ask them, but I actually didn't read through them. And I probably watched the video like a week and a half ago, whenever it came out. So sorry, I'm not as organized as usual. I had some time to film and I was like, I've been so busy. I'm going to film real quick. So it's not a rushed video, but we'll call it express. Okay, question 1, out of all the books you read this year, which one was the biggest surprise? Okay. I'm gonna go with The Seven Husbands of, I can't even talk. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is one I think Drinking by My Shelf recommended to me, and I loved it. I wasn't 100% sure what to expect of it because she was pretty vague with the description, but that's generally how I like my descriptions. And I really, really liked it. It just, I don't know, it caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this as much as I enjoyed it. I was kind of expecting like a 3 to 3.5 read. Like, it'll be fine. It'll be good. I'm not going to regret reading it. I totally did not regret reading it. It just surprised me. Basically, this is a book about kind of a movie starlet from the 50s. Her career kind of begins in the 50s, if I'm remembering correctly. And she comes to Hollywood and she becomes this blonde bombshell and, you know, takes the world by storm kind of thing. But of course, you know, her first movie is probably like a B movie and it's a crap movie and stuff like that. And it kind of shows her way climbing up the ladder. But they kind of segment the book by her husband. So it's her first husband and then why that marriage ended, and then the second husband and why that marriage ended. And I don't think it sounds interesting when you talk about it like that. But one of the interesting things to me is like, they have like these news bulletins in there. So it's like she splits with her husband and, you know, she's moved on. And then the newspaper will say, Evelyn Hugo just can't seem to keep a husband. Divorce number 3 is around the corner, blah, 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 blah. And in reality, you see why she's getting a divorce. You see what's going on in the marriage. And it's just interesting. Like, it's not historical fiction, really. That's not how I would label this at all. But there was some historical fiction in there for sure, because it is somewhat historical. I mean, 50s, 60s, 70s historical, and it is fiction, but that's still, I would probably label it more, I don't know, adult fiction is what I would label it as. But still, super enjoyed this book, super surprised me. Yeah, you should read it. It's good. Okay. Oh my goodness, you guys, it is so cold in my basement. It is ridiculous. It's like single digits outside, and so I have on shoes today. You can't see them, but they're there. And it's cold. The basement is cold. My hands are freezing. Okay, question 2. What was the best book you read this year? Only one answer allowed. Okay. Who stars the best book I read this year? Okay, I had 13 5-star reads last year. And so I'm going to pick one, and then I have 2 very, 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 very close honorable mentions. The one I'm going to pick is going to be The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in the Mistborn series. If you like fantasy, high fantasy, regular fantasy, magic systems, this is the series for you. You're going to start with The Final Empire. This is the second one. I'm actually currently reading the third one, and I'm loving it. Read this series. If that's what you like, read this series. I'm not going to go into the description too much. My 2 honorable mentions, I guess those are allowed, is going to be The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss and Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. These were 2 books that I loved last year. 5-star reads, 6, 7, whatever you want to call it. These were great books. I really enjoyed them. Also fantasy. I don't know if you see a pattern here. This is about, it's a heist story. It's about 6 people who are kind of unsavory who are doing a heist. And this is about a guy who looks back over his life, and he comes from like when he was a little kid to like, it ends when he's like year 15 or so, 15 years old. It doesn't sound interesting, but it really is. It has magic in it, and yeah, I don't know. They're both fantastic books, but I'll have to give this one to Brandon Sanderson, probably because it is in a series, and there's 2 trilogies this goes with, so I don't know. It's like picking your favorite child. I do have a favorite child, by the way. Okay, question number 3. What book was the biggest disappointment to you this year? I'm gonna have to go with Shatter Me. It's down the hall. I don't feel like going to get it, so you can just imagine what the cover looks like. I really didn't like it. Now, I've heard from numerous people that the series gets better, which is why I haven't written it off completely. I will probably read the second and third books in the hopes that it is better, because I didn't like the first one. I didn't like the poetic writing. I didn't like anything of it, and I was super disappointed because so many people love this book, and it is hyped, and it was disappointing for me. I didn't enjoy it. So that would be it. Number 4, out of the books you read this year, which one was the most forgettable? Well, that's interesting, because wouldn't I have forgotten it? I would have to say the entire series of Unfortunate Events would be forgettable. I was actually trying to think back on what they were about because I was watching the series on Netflix, and I got nothing. Like, I was literally like, oh, what happened in the second book? I can't even remember anymore. I can't even remember. So I read the whole series last year, all 13, and I would have to say they're all forgettable. Then I was trying to remember, how did it end? Because I remember I hated the ending, and now I can't remember it. I just have straight up blocked it out. I didn't enjoy it. You know, maybe if I were 10 and 11, I would enjoy it, but I'm not 10 or 11, and I did not enjoy it. Number 5, the one that got away. What book did you have every intention of reading, but it just slipped through your fingers? So I don't have the book with me currently because I loaned it to my brother-in-law, but it would be Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I actually finished it. I just had every intention to read it last year. I was like, I'm going to get this read before the end of the year. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then I found myself 3 days at the end of the year, and I was reading it and I was enjoying it, but I really didn't want to like rush through it because I wanted to enjoy it as I went. So I enjoyed it, but I technically finished this year, but I so meant to read it last year and I didn't get around to it. But I will say I did like it. I'm glad I took my time because a lot happens in it. And if you're not going to be like detail reading it, I think you just miss things. Number 6, what have you learned about yourself as a booktuber this year? I don't know. I would say I have learned that readathons stress me out, and I didn't think that before. I participated in one readathon before I was a booktuber, and it didn't stress me out at all because, you know, I didn't meet my goal, but nobody knows. I'm not standing here making videos saying, I'm going to read 7 books. By the way, if I do the booktubathon next year, I'm not going to try and read 7 books. That stressed me out. But I learned that I put the stress on myself and that I shouldn't do that. And I want to do a readathon, not be stressed out. I want to do that. I also learned that I like being a booktuber. Most of the people I know in real life don't watch my videos. Most of my friends and my family, some of my in-laws do, but the vast majority, the people I know, don't watch my videos. So most of the people that I'm communicating with this are, you know, out there in the booktubosphere, if that's a word. And I really have enjoyed that. I feel like it's made me slightly more extroverted than I normally tend to be. And I've had a lot of fun. So yeah, I'd say I had a lot of fun as a booktuber, and I didn't know it was going to be quite this much fun, but it is. Okay, question number 7. What will be your reading challenge for next year? I decided to do 100 books on my Goodreads. Yeah, so I'm a little nervous, but I have a few things to pad that, like I'm trying to read 20 graphic novels / manga, so that'll push that number up, and if I can find a few series that I like, I might be reading even more than that. I'm going to try and participate in some readathons. I think that'll push that number up too. So I have a few little things I'm doing to kind of push that number up too, but I'm just not going to stress. If I don't hit 100, I don't hit 100. That's okay. But if I do, you know, good on me. A pat on my back. And that is it. It was just 7 simple questions about the books that I read. Thank you, Happy Elephant Books, for making this tag because it is just what I wanted at the new year. I actually want you guys to comment down below and let me know what book last year surprised you. What book were you going into that you thought this will be okay or this will be fine, and then it turned out to be much better than fine? It doesn't have to be a 5-star read. It just has to be a book that surprised you. Also, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I post videos on Tuesdays and Fridays, so you can find me here then, and I will just look forward to seeing you guys then. Goodbye.